Welcome back to the county seat. We are talking about the conflicts between law enforcement on public lands, federally managed public lands, and law enforcement within the individual counties. Who has the ultimate jurisdiction here, and how does it tie up legally? And we've come quite a ways. We have much more to talk about, so we want to invite you now, before we do our summaries here on the half-hour television broadcast, to stay with us, and we will discuss this more in our extended conversation on the internet and on radio. So, gentlemen, we have about 2.5 minutes. A summary. Where do we go? How do we fix the problem?
Well, the sheriffs need to stick together. I mean, they have the constitutional authority, and there's certain jurisdictions. They all need to stick together, and they just need to keep fighting the BLM and the BLM Rangers. I mean, it's if they don't, and they're trying to get more and more active in trying to assume a more authority than they actually have under the Constitution.
And Chad, there needs to be federal legislation. We need the help of our federal senators to help battle this. We can stick together, and even the Western Sheriff's Association can stick together, but it ultimately comes down that we need federal legislation passed that prohibits their law enforcement powers.
I mean, didn't they even tell you at your Western Sheriff's Association meeting, somebody from the Forest Service, that their jurisdiction actually extended to adjacent lands and roads coming in and out of?
Yes, they did. And another thing we need to really push is state sovereignty. You know, the state, it's a state jurisdiction, state sovereignty issue. And what's happened is the federal government has ignored the state sovereignty issue. We in the state of Utah are proprietary jurisdiction only, and they have backdoored the state of Utah with their CFRs, or codified regulations, to do it as concurrent jurisdiction, and we need to stop that.
And do you think that federal legislation is the only way to accomplish that?
We need to get our Attorney General's office to make sure that that happens.
Ultimately, that's what needs to happen.
The Attorney General had indicated earlier in the show that if this has to go to court, they're ready to take it to court, and they're prepared to do it.
Well, they need to do that. That way we'll know, you know, which way the court's actually going to support the issue, so that we can quit all this issues back and forth.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the County Seat. We would like to invite you to join us again next week right here on ABC4, 8 a.m., and we look for you to join us in our extended conversation online. We'll see you next week.